Hey, what's up, friends? I'm Aruri the Collector. Welcome to the first video of 2022, and we're introducing a new company to our channel, SHK Figures. Honestly, it's going to be amazing, so stick around for this new video and new surprises here on the Darkoburi channel. To kick off this new year, we've got new unboxings, and as I've always promised, I'm bringing you different companies. Here we have a new one, SHK Superheroes Kingdom Studios, which honestly has some really impressive pieces. I'll even give you a tip later on about where I bought it. I actually got it from a pretty risky place, but honestly, there were no problems at all. I made the payments through PayPal, and look, here it is, the figure delivered right to my house. So, it's time to check out this new piece from SHK Studios. Just look at the size of the outer box. It's really well protected. And just to give you an idea, I'm going to turn the box around so you can get a spoiler of what we're about to do. Here we have the Majin Buu from SHK, and here it says it's a piece, but it doesn't say how much it weighs. So, let's take out the box inside so you can get plenty of surprises and we can check out the quality of this new studio and see if it's worth it for you or not. Now, here's how our box looks for this piece. It just has the name Buu on it, and check out how it has that effect like it's been smashed up. Here we have our first Majin Buu, the first one we see in the Dragon Ball Z series, the Chubby Buu. And here you have their website in case you want to check out SHK. I didn't buy it there, I bought it from a distributor. And as a good tip, never put your numbers on your pages or emails, because at the end of the day, it's already 2022 and they're still stuck in 2016. It doesn't really matter, but go check out everything they have to offer. And by the way, we'll have another figure from this company too. I actually bought two at the same time, and check out the prices. This Buu goes for around $825. And as you probably know, these are collector's edition pieces. What does that mean? They make a certain limited number of pieces, and that's it. Once they're gone, they move on to the next project and then the next one. Honestly, check out the box. It's just a completely normal box, not like some of the others we've seen that are really spectacular. It's just a black background, nothing else included. On this side, you have the company name, and this is where we'll be able to take out our piece. Obviously, I'm going to have to let it fall this way so I don't damage it at all, and on the back, there's nothing else. We'll see that here. It just simply says one lifetime, and honestly, that's absolutely all there is to it. The entire box only has the singular, striking artwork on its very front surface and nothing else whatsoever. Now let's get to what you're really interested in, which is taking out all the resin, all the pieces, and starting to assemble our Mega BO piece from SHK Studios. And now, just like those Russian nesting dolls, we keep taking out box after box after box, but it's important for you to see how your piece will arrive. Honestly, I have to brag a little because it's really well protected, and there's a nice detail here with these straps that I love. They put the company's name on them. We've seen some other pieces where it's just plain, or the piece is already inside the inner box, protected only with tape. With these straps, you prevent movement. It's a trick that works for both comics and collectibles. The less it moves, the less it shifts and rattles around. Obviously, the less the piece moves, the lower the chance it will break or get damaged. So, just check out that Alphonse Eric piece we got from first 4 figures that arrived all banged up. That's why I'm showing you how these are coming in now. It also came with a certificate and something extra, but I'm not going to show you that right now because I don't want to give away too many spoilers. But now, let me take off the straps, I'll take out the piece, show off the base, and we'll start assembling this one lifetime Buu from SHK here on the Darkoburi channel. Now, to my surprise, when I unboxed this first box, it only had part of the base. There were 2 boxes, each weighing about 17 kilos, which makes up the whole figure, and you'll see in a moment why it's worth it. I haven't put it together yet because, like I always tell you, the bottoms of the bases always have something special. Here, in our case, we have the figure of Bo, just like we saw on the box, and the name of the studio is shown both at the top, spelled out, and at the bottom as SHK Studios. On the other side, and the base is actually pretty heavy, we just have another part where another base fits in. But what does that leave us with? Right there we have a light, and if we look at the back, we can see the switch, which means our piece is going to be fully lit up. and that's going to be awesome. I wanted to show you the whole desk covered with the pieces so you can see everything we have here, and we're going to put it together little by little. To start off, we have this mega cake, which is the first base, and check out the filling here. It's packed, you could say, with sprinkles. You can even see all of it here, this delicious cake, which is a nod to Buu, in this case, Majin Buu, the original, the chubby one who was always eating, and only got mad when he ran out of food. We're also going to have, once in a lifetime, all the versions of Majin Buu that appeared, and we'll talk about each of them as we go through his entire evolution in Dragon Ball Z. Alright, now let me start setting up the base, and we'll talk about each of these figures, which honestly are super impressive, and you can see they're pretty complicated to put together. Complicated? Why's that? Because there are quite a lot of pieces. For example, there are a lot of little details here in this bag, and in general, a lot of pieces with all the Majin Buus. So let me set up the other base, and we'll be right back to analyze each of the Majin Buus here on the Darkoburi channel. And now we have this mega additional base piece, which, if you check it out, also has magnets underneath and connectors so you can light up the piece. Honestly, it fits really, really well. You have to set it down very carefully because it's also pretty heavy. And over here we also have some other, let's say, gadgets or little lights that will light up later. Honestly, this is going to be a really, really well lit piece, and it has tons of details. In conclusion, it's going to be totally wide and big, and here we can see how this little, let's call it a meringue-like foam, stands out with that white and slightly pinkish color, which still has several attachments, still has the colorful sprinkles. Here we see some other little desserts that Majin Buu used to enjoy, and of course, we have some pieces where the different Majin Buus fit together. As I mentioned about the base that's all the way on the other end and is pretty heavy, the idea is to attach it down here, but I'm not going to assemble it because at this point, I won't be able to handle the base from the front, but a little later, almost at the end of the video, you'll see the piece fully assembled. Just check here, it has another magnet piece, but for now, this part, which is the complement, the back part, I'm going to leave it out. Let's focus on Majin Buu, and now, buckle up because here we go. And now that we're about to assemble our Majin Buu, the first thing is to complete this little cloud that forms on this side. The first element that goes in is Fat Majin Buu. Notice how it already comes completely disassembled, but this gives us a chance to talk about the details we shouldn't miss on this Mega Majin Buu piece. First of all, there's the vest he wears, which is all black with gold stripes running along the outside. Here, the last part that stands out from his vest, check out how it has gold all over. But what really stands out is the effect on his pants, which are white. They add shadow effects. Notice how it transitions between grayish tones and white, which is absolutely perfect, ending in these parts that are already black clothing and brown boots. With our Majin Buu, what you need to be careful with is that he comes with his cape. We already know he's the only one who has this purple cape. We'll have the element of his face, and obviously, we'll have each of his hands, just so we can put Majin Buu together. Before attaching, say, the face, you insert the cape here, and it gives the effect that Majin Buu is flying. That's why it has this part, or this opening here at the groin level, so that, to support it from this side, honestly, it's totally epic, and we can't overlook the detail of the belt as always. Here we see this Fat Majin Buu. Check out how he's flying here from the front. You just insert the little hands, and it already gives the effect that he's doing the Superman flight. Remember, in another video where we did the unboxing, we talked about the number of holes he had. We see that on his chest, he has 3 on each pectoral, and on his head, he has 3, finishing with 1 on the back. I didn't see that one on this head. We'll do a close-up in a moment so you can see that it doesn't have that last little hole. Remember, when he gets angry, steam comes out of there as if he's boiling. Everything else on the arm is exactly the same. And here, with the purple cape, we'll have to do a close-up because the texture is wonderful and exceptional. It also adds to the whole effect of it being folded, as if it's flying, and they really play a lot with these scenes between the color and the shadow. So I'll leave this Fat Majin Buu right here so you can feast your eyes upon his form on the Darkoburi channel. And now, since we have finished looking at this remarkable Fat Majin Buu, let's remove him so that, for practicality, we can move the base, which is, by the way, already heavy. The figure in general weighs about 34.35 kilograms, so it is not a negligible weight, and to handle it, we will leave it down here. On this other side, we need to put a piece, which is this one. Check it out, this is the piece that goes here. Let's remove the little cloud. This piece is the one that goes on this side, and then we will put the little cloud back, and it allows us to see this section. I was figuring out which piece is the right one to fit in from that side. And here we have Kid Buu. Kid Buu only comes with an extra head, and if you notice, thanks to the magnet, it fits perfectly and very quickly. And now we have, so to speak, one of Majin Buu's final forms, the one that is the hardest to fight, the one they are battling at the end. This is the one where Goku says thank you and puts on his whole show, and in the end, he thanks him because they defeated him and he was tough to kill. But let's go over the features and do the whole unboxing here. Check out the eyes. They have a black background. Sorry, everything in the eyes has a black background, and then the actual eye is red. All that pure evil of Majin Buu is concentrated in this Kid Buu. We already had all the other elements set aside, and here we can see, just like on the top, it has all the little holes on the head, which, as I mentioned, the fat Majin Buu doesn't have this one back here. From there on, it still has the 3 holes on each pec, as well as on each arm. Notice that now, instead of the vest, he has these bracelets, so that's changed. And on the belt, it still has the coolest element, as my friend Harry says, the super cool M of Majin Buu. The pants are also fully textured and have those transitions between white and a kind of grayish shadow, and you can't see what was underneath on Majin Buu God, which was basically a black legging. Now it goes straight to the boots with this golden trim. And now, here is Kid Buu. We're just introducing this little guy here. Notice that since this one isn't magnetized at the bottom, it still fits in well because this one can come off a little more easily, so once you're assembling your piece, check it out. Afterwards, I recommend putting on the fat Majin Buu to make sure this power strip is secure. But I'll leave you to check out all the details of Kid Buu here on the Darkoburi channel. And now we already have 2 Majin Buus out of the 4 we have here ready, so let's move on to the next one. Based on how easy it is, let's pick this one, which we usually just call Majin Buu. Let's say the normal one, since it's the one that's completely reformed after coming out of Fat Majin Buu. After he eats Fat Majin Buu, this form starts to appear. This is the one that really puts up a good fight, but he gets excited knowing he's going to battle, and at some point, they ask him for time and he says, "Alright, fine, if you're going to train for a couple of days, I'll give you the chance." But then he goes crazy when he's about to lose and pulls out some tricks up his sleeve. As an extra accessory, he only comes with the hand, and we see it's basically the same Majin Buu as Kid Buu. This color looks a bit more pink to me, more like Majin Buu. Unlike these two, I feel like this is the actual color they use for Majin Buu in the anime. It has the same details, and now we see him a bit more buff, fully formed, and he still has the details up here on the top with the holes, but check out that on the back, they didn't put anything. So, why does the company put the detail on the back for some and not for others? Who knows, maybe we should ask them. But what's really impressive, and I always say this, is the belt with the Majin Buu M. Check out how this whole style looks, all puffed up, totally white with these grayish parts on this Majin Buu. Honestly, the shadow effect looks really good on the figure, and when you do a close-up, you can see the texture. We have quite a few pieces, like Gotenks, that also had this texture, which is honestly amazing. And if you haven't seen the Gotenks unboxing, check it out right now on the Darkoburi channel. Why? Why? Because this Majin Buu ends up trapped in the little ball while the 2 kids, Goten and Trunks, were playing with him. That's why he gets mad, and then all the chaos starts, leading up to this other Majin Buu. Now, for this Majin Buu, let me give you a recommendation. Hold your figure really well because you're going to have a hard time putting it together, so apply some pressure, but not so much that you break it. It goes on this side, let's take a look, and once you're holding it in place, that's when you press down. Why? because it's starting to fit together, and let's check it here. I didn't apply full pressure yet. Let's see how there's a little bit of a gap here on this side, and here at the foot on this side there's just a tiny bit left. So, give it a little more pressure. In the next cut, I'm going to apply that extra bit of pressure. Why? So that the magnet in this foot attaches securely to the magnet that's directly embedded in the base. And LT, break time equals 0.5s/NGT. But while we look at that, we have two other little details to consider, which are this part, let's call it the key or power part, that go on this side. These fit in easily. The detailing is right there on the base, and check out how it goes in really smoothly and effortlessly. And LT, break time equals 0.5s/NGT. For now, I'll let you take a good look at this slim Majin Buu, nicely sculpted here on the Darkoburi channel. And finally, we're still missing the fourth Majin Buu. Just check it out, and if you have to guess, it's the one who absorbed good old Gohan. Everyone's talking about the new Dragon Ball movie, saying Gohan is the strongest Saiyan, even stronger than Goku and Vegeta. We'll see about that intriguing claim. He also trained with Supreme Kai with that Mega Sword and gained some pretty extraordinary power in his base, natural form. Here we're going to look at this Majin Buu, and check it out, his head comes separately. You just attach it, and honestly, I'd say this is the most imposing Majin Buu, which is why I saved him for last. He still has the bracelets, and now you can see his arms with some carvings, let's call them battle effects, but nowhere else, just here on his hands. He still has the same number of little holes or dots on each arm, typical of Majin Buu. And the detail I always look for is on the back. Let's do a close-up. He doesn't have it. He just has 3 on one side and 3 on the other. He still has those black pupils and red eyes, but the expression on his face, that look of self-confidence, is really, really epic. And what does change, and we have to talk about the detail, is this. Check out the inner training shirt, the one with the weights, and here the shirt is orange, the one he usually wore. What detail is missing on the back? If you know, leave it in the comments. Should it or should it not have the symbol that Goku always had, and of course Gohan and Krillin, from their training? Because here it's completely plain, that's something I had to point out. Let's watch Dragon Ball Z again to find out if it should have it or not. And from there on, check out how the shirt is completely tucked in here. The belt is pretty epic with the M, and the long pants, like I mentioned, have this mix of white and shadow colors that really make the piece stand out a lot. And the boots are just plain with this gold trim around them. So now you just put this on the back here, but do it very, very carefully so you don't move any of the other pieces. But I'll leave you here so you can take a closer look at this Majin Buu after absorbing Gohan here on the Darkoburi channel. And that's it, we're almost about 80% done assembling our piece. Like I said, we're just missing the base that goes back here, which we'll add at the end because it also comes with some other attachments that are spread out all over the piece. Here we have this little magazine. Let's take a look at it over here on this side. It's from right here. Let's check it out, Super Guy and Pepe Lemon. Here we have this handsome guy right here in the middle of the magazine. But what's interesting is that we're going to try to get a good picture of him, because inside there's a photo of Cell and another one of Frieza. It's a cool little Easter egg they added to the magazine. And this magazine goes more or less right here, underneath this chubby bug. The other thing that's really, really epic is Dabura. Honestly, it's super cool. If you remember, while they were fighting between the wizard and Dabura here, Majin Buu gets angry, and that's when he says, "What's wrong with you, Majin Buu?" And then he turns him into a cookie and eats him. But Dabura, who is the demon everyone thought was the strong one, honestly, if you remember in Dragon Ball, what was happening in Dragon Ball Z was that they were at the martial arts tournament, and they were competing. But then Videl shows up, and she had already cut her hair, and Spopovich gave her a massive beating, really went all out on her. He also had the M mark, and his partner Yamu had the M too. They said, hey, these guys had participated before, but they were pretty weak and lost. And now they come back with a lot of power, totally amped up, to the point that they even take Mr. Satan's daughter out of the fight. Satan. Here we have another chocolate that, honestly, was a delight for me in the early Dragon Ball games, because literally Majin Buu's power was turn into chocolate, but he would turn you into something like a chocolate candy. Here we have a character. Let's look at him as if he were the little gingerbread man. It's a nice chocolate color, and honestly, it comes like a chocolate bar. This little herb bar is actually pretty epic. And obviously, here we have a little milk carton that also goes over here, next to Fat Majin Buu, and one of the really epic characters, the one who causes all this mess, is this little dog. Honestly, Majin Buu had already calmed down thanks to the dog, but then some thieves show up and unfortunately kill him, which triggers Majin Buu's rage and leads to the catastrophe that drives the evolution of all these fights. Here, the dog also goes underneath Majin Buu, but then we got a bunch of little details that are scattered all over the piece. The first of them is this M for Majin Buu, which, if I could, I'd wear right here as a pin. Honestly, I'm not going to put it on the sculpture, I'm keeping it for myself. We'll put a little brooch on it. It comes with this lollipop, and if you're fans of Kiko and El Chavo, back when they sold them, it was really hard to pick a lollipop. You'd try to figure out the flavor before you could finish it. And there are a bunch of little candies, too. We'll do a close-up of all the candies in a bit because they have the face of a man and a woman on them. It's kind of funny, let's take a look. And we also have these candy canes. Everything here is showing all the things our friend Majin Buu eats. Here, he's also got what looks like a piece of pasta. We'll check in a bit to see what that's for. There's a piece of belt, which is a surprise element, kind of like on the Mickey Mouse channel, where there's a surprise tool that'll help us later. There's this little lollipop, and here comes, let's call it, a little accessory, sort of like a straw. Here we have the straw, so where does the straw go? Well, observe closely as the straw, meticulously designed for this purpose, goes right here, perfectly situated within the milk. Take a moment to truly appreciate how visually appealing and well integrated it all looks. But now, with much anticipation, I am going to proceed with showing you all the extensive array of extra accessories that accompany this item, each one contributing to its overall completeness. And in just a very short moment, we will indeed delve into and discuss this intriguing little surprise, which I assure you will capture your interest. But for now, please take a good, careful look as we meticulously talk about these various accessories. I will ensure to show them to you in exquisite detail, bringing them right up close for a clear view, exclusively here on the dedicated Darkoburi channel. And now, as we near the conclusion of our presentation, we are almost entirely done. This is the magnificent sight of how our unique Majin Buu One Lifetime collectible looks when it is almost fully and completely assembled, showcasing its impressive design. And this is how everything gets arranged. Check it out. Here's the little candy, here's the M from Majin Buu, a staff, here's Dvira, the little dog, the lollipop over there, the magazine, the milk carton, and these are all the extra elements you get with your piece. What's missing? We have some special accessories, let's call them little surprises that our friends from SHK left for us, which are these ghosts. Remember, these are the technique that Goten and Trunks invented, but after Majin Buu absorbs them, he can use it too. So here we're going to talk about the Hunchback of Notre Dame. Here we have one that also kind of looks like Cuauhtemoc Blanco. Check out how he has no neck at all. Our Majin Buu here is pretty funny and quite mischievous. And here is where we have the parts where he's going to start getting round. We no longer have any holes on this side, we just have the holes on his head, and now, judging by the color, we can say he's basically the color of Casper. Honestly, he's really cute. And on this other side, we already have a Majin Buu, now a Ghost Majin Buu. Let's call it that, way more epic. Check out the blue outline they did on the facial expressions, like what he has on his face, and the eyes. Notice that the pupils are completely white and inside they're blue. And here our friend is already a little, let's say, a little better formed. But because of the extension we have here in the aura part, let's just say he feels like having some snacks or that the ghostly grandparents could be eternal. So right now, well, additionally, this part is coming up that will stick out from the back of the piece. Let me insert them for now. Meanwhile, enjoy the close-ups of the ghost here on the Darkoburi channel. And now, voila, this is how our masterful Majin Buu piece looks. Honestly, it turned out exceptional, from the Majin Buu who absorbs Gohan, with the little ghost figures he has as a stolen power, to the fat Majin Buu, Kid Buu, and let's say this is the first truly evil Majin Buu that appears in the series. Additionally, it comes with quite a lot of accessories. What I didn't know what it was for was this part, which is basically for attaching some object. I'm not sure if you use a little bit of this glue for any piece that might be a bit loose. Just be careful with your pieces, your resins, and when you use it, handle them with care. Also, let me show off this certificate of authenticity, which has the number corresponding to my piece, the image of Majin Buu, and on the back, check it out, it says SHK. This is piece number 332 out of 399. Not 400, not 398. 399 pieces, and I was close to grabbing the last one, 332, a collector's edition, and you're seeing it firsthand here on the Darkoburi channel. And as a bonus, we got this flying Nimbus. We all know this yellow cloud was the one Goku used when he was a kid, because he was pure of heart and it allowed him to ride on it and fly. He would always call out, like, "Come here, flying Nimbus," and it would show up, he'd hop on, and off they'd go. This flying Nimbus comes with these parts down here that are for the base, and it comes with a surprise element. Here, we also get which I mentioned before had this extra accessory, totally magnetized. Check out how the belt is white, and honestly, I love seeing all the details it has, both in the upper clothing and the pants. Here are the pants, also white with a shaded effect. The feet of Kid Buu, this is when the masterful power of this entity, now known as Majin Buu, is reincarnated or reborn in Buu. He has this little, let's say, haircut, kind of like a black mohawk, and we see him participating more in Dragon Ball GT. Goku, like any good dad, just decides to grab this kid, kidnap him from his village, leave his own family, and go train a total stranger. That's why he basically won the Dad of the Year award, and this is how Buu turned out. Honestly, if we see him in action, he's going to be someone really, really important, because we have fat Majin Buu, and even in Dragon Ball Super, they still consider him a powerful character. They didn't include him in the Tournament of Power because of, well, his intelligence. They didn't want monsters just going around wrecking things. But if they managed to bring Buu in properly, honestly, we'd have a really, really interesting character to develop. He's totally enigmatic, and let's remember, he could ride the flying Nimbus. Here, our friends at SHK Studios gave us this extra piece. Here it is with our certificate of authenticity. And I'll leave you to check out the final detail, the Buu piece and also the Majin Buu lifetime piece, right here on the Darkoburi channel. And now, about what I mentioned at the start of the box. The thing I said I wasn't going to show you because it had a ton of spoilers. It was this card that my friends at SHK included. Check it out, it's a copy or, let's say, a graphic representation of the statue that comes here of Majin Buu. And in addition, they sent us this part. Look, even down here it has its hologram so you can see the piece is totally original. They also explain who each of these Majin Buus are. I'll leave it here for you to read, and I'll be back in a moment to wrap up this mega epic video here on the Darkoburi channel. So, if you managed to read the card, it actually said that this piece was released in 2021. Now that a week has passed, it already feels like a long time ago, almost like I could say last year. You're going to hear a lot of those jokes, so don't get annoyed. But to cool things down a bit, here comes the most interesting part, the gift I'm going to give you, which is this Frieza. Honestly, he's another one of the villains from Dragon Ball Z, and we see him later as Golden Frieza, but this is like the first Frieza that appears. Obviously, it's from SH Figuarts. These are really unique, super epic collectible pieces, fully articulated, and it comes with some extras, including Frieza's ship, the one he used to travel in at first. It looks like he couldn't walk, but actually, he can, and we see him in full action. And you're going to take it home with you if you tell me, Happy New Year, Dark Yuri. I'll give you a code later, maybe in an Instagram video, maybe in a TikTok video, so check out all our posts on all our social networks. And don't forget to participate and keep an eye on our website, where we run giveaways. Visit us on every single one of our social media platforms. Remember, we're on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. We're on every single social network, and especially on YouTube. So check out all of them. Remember to hit the subscribe button, turn on notifications, hit like, share, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends. Honestly, you help us a lot by sharing all our content. And on the website, you'll also find my book, figures, pieces, keychains, thermal mugs, a ton of collectibles so you can start or grow your collection. So check us out everywhere. Seriously, new year, new figures, new studios, and we're not disappointed at all. Leave a comment if you like the video, if you like the piece, what other pieces or what other anime you want us to talk about. Leave all your comments. If you have music recommendations, new anime, new seasons like Attack on Titan, leave it all. Go through all our social networks, and Darkoburi, peace out.